Hey guys, welcome back to Thomann Bedroom Producers, and today we're going to be making a chill hop track together, which is a really popular genre these days, and it's also just a really good exercise in, learning how to keep things simple, which I like to do from time to time. Because the easiest thing in the world is to overcomplicate music. And along the way, I'm going to be showing you guys my favorite tips and tricks and secret weapons that will really help you guys out when you're making stuff like this. So let's dive right in. As always, our first order of business here is to think about the tempo that we want to work in, the tempo range. And this genre is pretty versatile. You get some slower stuff and some quicker stuff, but I would recommend staying anywhere between about 78 and 93 BPM, somewhere in that range. Today we're gonna work on something a little bit faster. I'm just feeling like I'm in a faster mood. So I'm gonna work at 91 today. Now, first things first, I just wanna get a basic beat together here. And one thing that I picked up from my analysis on the Produce Like DJ Premiere video, if you guys haven't seen that, you should check it out. But one thing I learned is that he likes to start with just the hi-hats and the snare, and then let the chords or whatever you lay down on top of the drums kind of help you figure out what you wanna do with the kick. So for hats, one thing I've been loving doing is just grabbing like a hat loop like this, and then taking like some of the individual hat slices and arranging them in different patterns so that you get different hits almost every time. So what I like to do is just open up a few MIDI tracks and then drag this loop onto the MIDI tracks to get us just a simpler going here. And so here's what all three of the accented hats that I've got sound like. So basically, instead of this sound, we're gonna go for something more like this. And just that little bit of extra effort makes a big difference in terms of how it feels when we listen to our drum pattern. So now let's get the snare going here. I noticed that in Chillhop, a lot of times they'll have layered snares, so they have like a few different sounds happening at the same time for more of a complex sound. So let's use just a normal snare sound, then a rim shot, and maybe like a snap clap sound. We're gonna play them all at the same time like this. So one of the most important foundations or backbones of chill hop is gonna be your more jazzy chord progression. So let's record some guitar on here and see if we can find a nice direction to take this beat into. One little technique I've discovered to inspire a chord progression if you're not really sure where to start is I like to start by playing just like one single note over and over again, and then let your ear dictate where it wants to go, building from that note. So if we just recorded something like this here, now, I know I did it more than just one note, but I was just going with the flow. And we're gonna make it work. So now what we do is we just play around with some chords here. A good thing to think about when you're making progressions like this is I like to make at least one variation just to make it so it's not completely repeating the same thing over and over again. Your ears get really tired of it. So on the second half, let's do a slight change. We're just gonna do like as the turnaround instead of. Now here's another little secret sauce tip. Everybody knows about the RC20, the retro color plugin here that you can get all those kind of warbly lo-fi sounds from. What I like to do though is make sure that you have instruments grouped together. Sometimes every instrument and sometimes just the guitar is fine, but group them together onto the same group. And then make sure that your RC20 is on the grouped track instead of just the individual ones, because otherwise they'll kind of be all out of tune with each other, which usually doesn't sound good. So just like I've got this, just doing some really subtle wobbly stuff. Here it is off. Versus. So nice and subtle pitch variations give it that kind of lo-fi feel, but like I said, we're gonna use modern drums here. So now that we've got our chord progression here, let's add the kick like we wanted, and it'll be influenced by the chords. So let's see what we can hear here. Here. So now let's get some deep bass going. I was kind of feeling like we could go either direction, like either with a real bass or deep bass, but this one's got like a real kind of soulful hip hop feel, so I'm gonna go for the deep bass. The bass that I really like to use in stuff like this is a deep bass that's literally just, I'm using Operator, and it's called, I think, Sawtooth 3. So I think there's only 2 other harmonics apart from the fundamental happening, and it just gives us this nice, like, soft, rounded, deep bass tone. So let's have some fun and lay down some bass here. Okay, cool. So now I want to accentuate those guitar chords that we were playing. And here's where I introduce you to one of my favorite, most recent discoveries, and that's the BA1 synth by Baby Audio. It's awesome for this genre. So here's kind of what it looks like. And right off the bat, one thing I love about it is you can like change the color so fast, because this gray to me is just so uninspiring. I think I'm hearing kind of like a pad sound to help complement the space that the guitar is leaving. So I want something that's kind of slow, you know, slow release, kind of slowish attack, and relatively low cutoff. So let's go ahead and just initialize this preset here. So a couple of quick things that I really like about this synth is it's not overly complicated, just like the genre that we're trying to do. You just get, you know, a few sliders that everything's not assigned to everything else and it gets really convoluted. But check out this little battery slider. I think this is so creative. So you can drag this down and it degrades the quality and the tuning slowly. Check it out. This is almost like old analog gear or something that's going out. See how it kind of just hangs there in the background behind everything else and plays a nice support role. But actually, now that I put those two together, I'm kind of feeling like we need something that's a little bit brighter as well. So I'm thinking like maybe a keys sound that is in a higher octave, just to accentuate even more and give us some options in terms of how we arrange the beat. Because you can always easily take things away, but it's nice to have everything together that you want to eventually have, and then you can arrange out from there. That's one of my favorite arrangement tricks, is to do what's called subtractive arranging. Another thing I really like about this synth too is that there's a lot of usable presets, because I hate nothing more than when those presets are like doing way too much and it's like impossible to ever find a way of using in your beat. So I'm gonna show you a few of them here and we'll see if we can find something that fits with what we're trying to do here. That's kind of cool, even just that first one. Woo! This is like exactly what I pictured in my mind when I was trying to figure out what sound to add next. It's like something like this, like a tines. Now, in keeping with our strategy here, I'm gonna add a lead on top of all of this, and then we're going to figure out what order we wanna do it in for the arrangement. Just keep it nice and simple though. So let's find a nice lead sound here. And I'm also gonna use BA1 for that because why not? I need another opportunity to use that battery slider. The other cool thing about how you can color these synths is that now you can like separate them out by what they are. So I already know that, you know, I'm working with the pad now because it's orange, and you can just do that with a click. You don't have to download any skins or anything. It's pretty nice. Let's find a nice lead sound here. What do we got? A little bit too EDM maybe. Let's see what else there is. Ooh. Shout out to Jace or JC Lewis who made this preset. I like this. All right, let's lay something down here. Cool, and now we're just gonna add some shakers and some other, like maybe some vocal chops or something, because that's a very common thing in chill hop as well. And then we'll work on the arrangement, and that'll be the beat. Let's work on the arrangement. What I like to do here is just basically copy this section with all the elements that we want to eventually include in the song. We're just going to copy and paste it a few times, and we're just going to take out certain things and put certain things in. So I don't want to start with the lead in there. I want it to build in there. So I'm going to erase that, and we can also erase the pad and the keys, and we could also maybe save the bass for later and then possibly put the guitars as their own intro, maybe with like the snap sound here. So it could go like... So there we have it. I hope you guys had some fun. Even if you don't produce in this particular genre, I still think it's a really good way to kind of branch out and focus on keeping it simple. So let me know if you guys have any tips or tricks of your own for this genre, or any other genre for that matter. And we'll see you guys in the very next video. Take care. Peace.